Crossing Arcs, Alzheimer's, my mother, and me. Dedicated to Betty Isabel Emily Page, born 1929. I was born, and the market fell. Diagnosis. Have I had a stroke? Is that what happened to me? It's Alzheimer's, Mum. Did I know that? Did you tell me? Yes, we went to the doctor. Do you remember what he said? No, I don't remember. I'm losing my memory, you know. It's very annoying, makes me furious. But I'm going to beat it. I'm not going to give in. I'm getting better every day. I smoothed her hair. She used to push me off. Did I have a stroke? Is that what happened to me? I am lost, Mother, in the spaces you leave behind. I cannot even see a shadow there to follow. I have no way to comfort you in the empty room your mind now is. Doors and windows shut, blinds hung, closed. I don't think I have Alzheimer's. My memory is my own, and I'm going to keep it. Summer house. My mother is with us from the day we opened the door to mess and dirt and dust. That first year, she brushes down spiders the size of loonies, sweeps flies from corners, washes rags of curtains in buckets of well water, scrubs bird shit from sills, scrapes at paint and dirt, pulls us through hardware stores for nails, hooks, towel rods. Together, we haul beds and dressers up the stairs. And each night, she argues with my husband, all through the courses of the meals he invents to match her tastes and needs. She has her own opinions about how to fix the pump, repair the beams, tear down walls, and lay the new floor. My dad taught me how to handle tools, she tells him, stands by with a broom to knock him to safety as he rewires the fuse box, shows him how to bang in nails with 3 strong strokes. Shouldn't take more. I can't take much more, he grumbles to me, counting the days till her train is due. It's so important to see you, to keep my sanity, literally, to keep in touch with reality. Otherwise, it would be very easy to get spaced out in a place like this, to wonder what you were doing here. A waste of time. I'll do the dishes, at least that's something I can do. She fills the sink with water, cool so her hands won't hurt. Grease pools on the surface. She won't rinse the plates, a waste of time, she says, time too precious to spend on extra steps when a horde of children called. Forgets to wipe the counter, and as often as I show her, can't remember where the cups are hung. This is stupid, being like this. Thoroughly annoys me. What's in front of me is what I see. "11 lines. She tells me the sky is a watercolor, shows us 11 lines of color in the sea. My husband searches for paints, comes home with felt pens, all he could find in the country store. The pens won't do, though she watches them sideways for days before she says, 'It was nice of him to buy them, but put them away. If only I could stop seeing.'" I know what it's like from inside, but not what it looks like from outside. Crossing arcs. "Don't be ridiculous. It's far too big for me." I hold the bathing suit up to my chest and see she's right. Somehow, we've slipped along crossing arcs. As I curve into middle age, she slides into old. I pull the suit on, have to yank and pull. The one I've given her gapes at the legs, sags at the waist. In the water, I pause as we splash through the shallows, reach for her hand. A lot of the stuff that's come and gone is gone. What you're left with is what you basically are. Arguing with the tide. I sit on the rock as the tide pours in, white-lipped, turbulent. Imagine ways to keep my mother safe from myself and all the champions who want to run her life. Imagine the accusations, confusions, misunderstandings if her children fight, mother caught in the middle. Who to believe? Who could be wrong? A daylight nightmare as the water rushes and sucks into deadly undercurrents where the river meets the bay, over mud that looks safe but can pull you into your chest with one misstep. Lush green eelgrass and sandpaper rock offer no holds for a swimmer caught in the pull. Each year, someone drowns. Waves scrape and growl, break against my knees, chase me from the shore, up the slope to the hayfield, through Queen Anne's lace, thistle and vetch. Later tonight, the tide will back out a full flat mile, the far-off edge not even a murmur beyond splinters of moonlight on stones and sand. Large, flat stones, firm plates of sand, where I can walk for a few hours ebb. Now I understand what my mother was going through. I thought she was just being lazy and slow, and she was so good to me. Refusing the bait. Suddenly, over a supper of haddock and greens, "Why won't you let me finish what I'm saying?" she snaps at him. "You act like I'm stupid and old, and you never listen. Why are you always telling me what to do? I can look after myself." I'm stuck, fork in air, mushroom dripping sauce. "Of course you can," he tells her. "You tell her off. Your daughter's always been bossy." The arguments they've had for so many years about science and religion and politics and art are done. He no longer leaps into the fray, refuses any bait, speaks as he does to me when I cry. I don't want to go back, she says to him then. Don't worry, he tells her. Stay as long as you want. You don't have to leave. There's no rush at all. It's a good time to write poems about this because there are so many old people around. It'll give them a feeling they're not alone. Hay bales. The meadow beyond the window changes day by day, from high grass to first mowing, to raking, to bales. I could paint that, she says. Each day tells me how she would layer the scene in greens and yellows and grays. On the last day of her visit, she dwells on every bale, describes each shadow, how it turns with the sun. I do not lift the paper from the bookshelf nearby, the pencils and felt pens that have waited every day. She does not ask. If only my mind didn't fill with pictures, the colors, the layers, then I could let go. It closes like a heart. Her words are all questions now. When am I leaving? Who's going to meet me? What was I doing? I was working on something. Everything she starts, she drops halfway through. In the last few days, I nudge her toward the dresser she began the first year. She settles with her rags and cans, wipes off the old paint as gently as if the swirled wood underneath were skin. Look at this. Look how the wood is cut to match the panels across the front of the drawers. How beautiful it is. It closes like a heart. That night, she stays up to finish the final sanding. We roll the dresser back, ready for next year, when she says she'll rub it with 3 coats of oil. Where are we going? She asks yet again as we head towards home. And he answers her again as we drive down the highway. He answers her in detail, again and again and again. It's like living in a fog, adrift. I can't get hold of anything. Letter to myself. If this happens to me, I will kill myself. I don't mean to let the words out, and with my daughters, I manage to refrain. But to him, they slip out suddenly through cracks in conversation, at stopped moments in halls. Nights, I plan the method that will cause least pain. Look most like an accident. Google has thousands of recipes, but not one is certain. Not scotch and pills. They say you vomit it up. Not slipping through a hole in ice. Someone is always watching. And which backyard, which lake will I choose to forever poison for those left behind? There will be no more words, not even I'm not sorry. I had to get angry. There's anger and fear, one or the other, and I choose anger. Anger is what keeps you alive. Leaving summer behind, we drive away from summer through 2 days of trees, trees and mud, mud and trees in dull repeat. Bare racks on hard scrabble against a metal sky, scriven by pepper toss of starlings, jag of geese, hunked of raven on stump and dead tip. Each field shakes gulls into the air, crows rankle in the ditches, hawks drop so fast towards rodents in the straw, they seem to leave contrails etched on the gray. Every year they build nests, all those birds. I thought she was asleep, dozing in the back on the pillows and bags. Thousands and thousands of nests. By spring, the trees will all be empty again. What happens to nests when the winter comes? Hands. She takes off her boots, coat still buttoned, turns from the hall into the apartment she left a week before. One final trip to pick up final things. Steps through the arch into the living room. Her hands come together, fold around each other, as if against cold. The couch is gone, her lamp, her chair, the floor a mess of movers, tracks. A few more steps, she stops, bends her head into my shoulder. I put my arms around her. Her hands between us, still closed around something no one can hold. Acceptance and loss, holding on to life and what it was. Black day. How would I last without my house, without the glimpse of river as I turn down the street, without the bustle of finches and chickadees round the porch where we sit and eat our dinner? Where we call out to neighbors from behind the screen of grapevines, or without our evening walk in the park, where children bring bread for the ducks, dogs and owners romp unleashed, herons flap, blackbirds preen, and irises unfurl. In a room like hers, sealed from the earth, looking out on a parking lot, how could I find a path through a black day with no fireplace to burn these useless scraps of words, without the scent of ferns? I've got my pictures and my couch. Everything has a story. I remember that couch in the window of the second-hand store. It glowed orange and gold. And that little table, I glued it together, redid a whole panel. This is what's left, and it's not bad. Visitors. The rest of us cope in our different ways. 2 of us in town, 4 spread across the continent, sending advice about exercise, running shoes, potassium, Sudoku. Some call every week, all visit when they can, visits planned without her involvement for the very first time. No longer will they sleep on a mattress on her floor, no longer rise late to drink tea and talk for a whole unplanned day. From now on, they'll stay with my sister or me, make forays to see her for an hour or 2. When they come, I'll take them out for dinner, take them out to the rowdiest pub I can find. I am imagining myself old. I am imagining myself old because she's not what she was. I haul my 5 decades hand by hand up the stairs, listen anxiously to my heartbeat, shy away from salt, spices, sugar, wine, lie late into the day wondering how many more I have left. This is not what she does. Faced by clear decay in a diminished, sunless space, she covers the walls with her paintings, the shelves with her pottery and books, grabs every bit of life that blunders her way. My grandmother lived to 103. This is not true, but what use are facts? This is now. As I said, what else can I do? Losing the tools. This time it's forks and spoons and bottles of glue that keep me awake. What will she be to herself without her tools? She who always knew how to replace a washer, change a fuse, fix a chair, or without her favorite cup. I walk in the door of her full-service suite and she greets me with tea, as she always did. But she doesn't have a pot or kettle in her room. And the dining hall downstairs uses china so fine, each cup holds no more than half of what she wants. I can't take it in. All of the things that marked her as her by what she could do, stored or given away. A bare 2 decades separate our lives. What will my daughters choose for me to leave on the shelf? It's very confusing and unsettling, but I'm determined not to let it drive me nuts. I won't give up. It's self-defense. Time to plan. After coming here, she doesn't need to worry anymore about meals, medicines, safety. There are people to talk to, complaints to make. Now I'm regaining my spirits and health. Now is the time to plan my next 10 years. Another cup of tea? She's bought a pot and kettle from the hardware down the street. Maybe I'll take a cruise, just keep changing ships. Or move to Nova Scotia. I could live there all winter, get it ready for you in the spring. I could do the elder hostels, enroll in art school, go back to the Anglican church, good music, church suppers. Or visit each of my 6 children 2 months each year. I've never really had the chance to do everything I meant to do. We talk and talk and talk. My health is fine. I'm as healthy as a pig in a rut. Just let me get a man. Too bad most of them here are old. Sign of respect. Afraid she's fallen or had a stroke when she doesn't answer my knock, I have the nurse unlock her door, ignoring with a daughter's disdain the clearly written post-it note, "Do not disturb," in her school teacher hand, stuck above the knob, and can only laugh with surprise and a kind of relief and delight to see 2 bare bodies half rise on the bed as I step in. Sorry. I back out fast. Who gave me the right to breach a shut door? What made me sure age had smothered that flame? All her lovers I'll remember. I may be losing my memory, but it's a discriminating memory. I have things you will never know, no matter what I remember or forget. There are places in my mind where you can never go. Coloring the dragon. Look how the lines twist. Is that a foot or a mouth? A bit of wing or a sky? Coloring books of Chinese dragons, Celtic knots, monsters and saints from the Book of Kells engross her for hours. It's fascinating. A puzzle. And the colors. Did you give them to me, all those pens? Look at the fluorescent yellow, how it makes the other colors spring from the page. They were a gift from your friend, 80 markers for your 80th birthday. You remember her. You've known her for 25 years. I should send the finished pages to all my children. Refrigerator art. Or they can hang them in windows so the light shines through. That's your great-grandma, they can say. That fluorescent yellow dragon with the green and purple spikes. The pens are running out. I need to replace them. Where did I get them? I can't create anymore. The novels I read close comfort around me. The poems I write scratch trails through my gut like a cat who swallowed a thread of wire and tries to tooth it out. Incomprehensible pains that even when they pass, leave cramps as a mark. Isn't that what poetry is supposed to do? out to sharpen perception. This is a failing mind. In my room and hers, books cover the floor. One good thing, I love reading. I read a book a day, and then I finish the book and close it and say to myself, I wonder what that was all about. So I read it again. Means I can read every book 5 times. Having grieved enough for now, what does it mean? Is it just a bad joke? I hold all that's happened up to my eyes as if it were jumbled in a child's kaleidoscope. Turn the tube through tumbles of yellow, red, blue, shards and slivers and fragments in a cracked cascade that clink into place after place after place with a small glass hiss. Why her? Why this? I turn and turn. Each burst is different, each one unrelated to the one before. This is not reality. My reality. This is where you go when you're finished. Rushes her down. And yet, she's still here. Still behind the windows, lit by gas lamps and firelight. Still leading the beat in family songs, still at the center, pumping on the guitar with her laugh-tooled skin and quartz blue eyes and hair like a silver mop. Still here, as she burnishes from gray to glow, and her words fly away like flickers, gulls tossing in wind. Memories spray and tangle like ribbons of mist steaming from the bay. Thoughts come and go like flames in the stove, like the whiver of a candle, like the breath that blows back into the crowded room as I slip away into salt and damp, into darkness by the shore. Look back through the glass. Look back as my mother, small and gold, slips into my hands, and I close my palms around her, hold her, as the current rushes her down. What I put in at the end is the window, as if you could get through to the other side.